Expense management should be simple, but we know it often is not. And despite its complexities, it's an integral part of many companies' day-to-day operations and a challenge you might be facing. We often hear, "It takes too long," "Reimbursements are too late," "Mistakes are too likely." Does any of that sound familiar? Well, you've come to the right place. We developed Expensya to replace the stress and strain of managing expense reports with simplicity and clarity, creating a people-first experience for finance teams and every user. Let's dive into how we can revolutionize expense management for your company. Let's look at a case study to see how Expensya can take your expense management to the next level. Daniel works for a company that utilizes Expensya to streamline expense management. Previously, he would allocate an hour at the end of each month to categorize his expenses and receipts. Fortunately, that time-consuming task is now a thing of the past, and he can now accomplish it in just a minute using his phone. Let's observe the process. Following a lunch meeting with a client where Daniel covered the bill, he opens the Expensya app and captures a photo of the receipt. The app automatically adjusts the framing, and Expensya's OCR Plus technology begins to process it. All essential information is analyzed and integrated into the expense form in just a few seconds. The OCR Plus is directly linked with ChatGPT, enabling it to translate the receipt for Daniel, his manager, and the accounting team to review. At the top, he notices an alert reminding him of the company's spend policy, with a maximum limit of €50 for lunch. He is eligible for reimbursement up to that amount. The company's rules can seamlessly be integrated and enforced for better expenditure control and visibility to employees and validators. He can rename the expense and manually adjust the category if necessary. Given that he was with a client, he includes a guest in the form. Upon scrolling down, he can review the various details added by the OCR Plus, such as the date, location, or payment method. Once satisfied, he saves the expense. Now, he can add it to his report, and depending on his organization's process, he may either wait for additional expenses to be added or submit it promptly for approval. Task completed. Now he can confidently discard the receipts, thanks to Expensya securely storing them in its legal archive for 10 years. Now, let's look at a case study where Daniel is the manager. Daniel has just received a notification informing him that a report from Simon, one of his team members, is awaiting approval. He can conveniently review and approve it on his phone on the Expensya app, on Microsoft Teams app integration, or on the platform. He clicks on the report and gains access to the expenses, allowing him to validate or reject a specific expense without invalidating the entire report. Alerts are predominantly displayed to draw attention to anomalies, facilitating a more focused and efficient approval process by addressing only what requires approval. Expensya has various alerts that can be set up based on your spend policy and internal rules. These alerts can range from simple notifications to limitations on reimbursement, or even blocking rules, such as not accepting expenses incurred over the weekend. The system also identifies if an invoice is duplicated or potentially fraudulent. Once approved, the status of the report changes to validated, and the expenses move on to the accounting department for final review. Simon now receives notifications via the app, email, and Teams, informing him that his report has been approved. If Daniel had rejected an expense, it would have been returned to Simon with the specific reason, allowing him to make the necessary corrections. Great news! Simon and Daniel's company chose to get Expensya cards. Simon can now avoid out-of-pocket expenses while adhering to the company policy through pre-approved budgets. All he needs to do is request a budget. For instance, let's plan a work trip to Berlin. Simon specifies the requested amount and sets an expiration date, in this case, at the end of the trip. To maintain control, the financial department allocates categories to Simon's card. The admin can also configure specific schedules, such as turning the card off in the evenings or on weekends. If necessary, multiple budgets can be requested. They can even be set to recur. This feature is handy for covering subscriptions like SaaS solutions or phone subscriptions. Once the budget is submitted, the status will change to pending approval. Now, Simon's manager instantly receives the notification regarding the budget and can approve it within minutes. The manager has full access to all budget details and the flexibility to close it at any given moment if needed. The budget status is now approved, granting Simon instant access to it with his card. Even with a pre-approved budget, there's a validation step for the manager to oversee the expense and ensure compliance. Any anomalies will be flagged with an alert. Now that you're aware of the benefits of using Expensya, say goodbye to time-consuming processes and transition once and for all to intelligent spend management. Integrate Expensya into your company today and join our clients who have already saved up to 80% of their time managing expense reports. For a detailed exploration of our solution, request a personalized demo. Unlock Expensya's potential and focus on what truly matters.